Can I get a hey man? Yeah!
Hey man!
What is up?
Calling all beings is back. I'm your host, DJ. We got a smiling Nathan. We got a smiling Courtney. And behind that avatar over there is the smiling Debsy, even though her dog done ate them earbuds. It's all good. Hey, yeah! And we got a special guest tonight, right, Money?
We do indeed. Yeah. Return guest at that.
That's right. At the request of our cabbie prospect in this 1% joint, Courtney connected. And so she going to get the first question tonight, baby.
Love that.
So before we get to him, so Cab for 3 years now that we're into July has been a royalty-free proposition, meaning I haven't made a penny, Nathan hasn't made a penny, we don't have Patreon, any of that, and we decided that we would allow ads on our podcast and we would offer up these super chats. Nathan, tell them what it's all about.
So a super chat is just a way for you to ask a question, show your appreciation for the show. Obviously, you don't have to do that. You can ask a question anytime in the chat. We will take all questions. But if you feel so inclined to tip the show and give a little extra, we certainly appreciate it. As BJ mentioned, 3 years doing the show, we've not taken a dime. We've been spending our own hard-earned cash to keep the show afloat. And we're really not in this for the money. We're just looking to cover some of those costs. So anything you give would be appreciated, even if it's just your listening ears and watching eyes. We're always grateful to have you guys along for the ride.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right. Thank you so much, Nathan. Couldn't have been said better, as we often say when you say stuff, which is why you're on air talking about a show. So Courtney, connected and is so, she looks so dark and mysterious. Courtney, wait, are those the teeth? Right. Whoa, she's got fangs. Courtney, you had asked me, there's a certain person you wanted to have on tonight. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I have been working on multiple research projects, and it just like synchronistically came up about the Victor video. And you and I got to talking, and I was asking, about this and different connections we have. And you said, well, we interviewed Jon before, but I didn't know that. So I had requested hopefully to bring him back on so that we can get updates about the Victor video, things that are out there in the community, and have him go on the record about a few things. So I'm excited that he was willing to come on tonight so quickly.
Definitely, man. I texted him, and thank goodness he said yes on short notice. So without further ado, let's bring on the man who is behind the Alien interview documentary, the man that I predict is going to be the next guest star on FX's The Bear, right? On that restaurant. He's got to come in and Richie, he's got to straighten Richie out, go in, get Carmi, calm down in the kitchen there. So put your hands together for the former wrestler, former politician, and former college football player, and now documentary researcher, the man, Jon Stewart! Yeah!
What an intro.
Welcome, brother Jon Stewart. Yes!
One of my favorite shows, favorite crews. I really mean that.
So before we because Courtney's got the first question tonight, but Jon, if you were on that show, what would your role be on that show, The Bear, which is an amazing
it would be like
program?
A local wrestler, local car dealer that loaned them money, or one of the employees didn't make his payment to our dealership because we held the it's called holding the paper, which means you're the bank, and so I'm coming in to kind of gently remind them I'd like 2 beefs. sweet and hot, make it wet, and where's my car payment? And to make sure the car's in the parking lot. So I think
It's
that would be my role. And somebody would say,
very,
you know, you used to be a pro wrestler. You'll break your fucking leg. So, you know, go easy. Pay him.
very much like Rocky Balboa was in Rocky
Totally.
1, right?
Totally.
His lone
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
All right. All right. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Let me turn it over to Courtney Connected to get this started because, man, when we thought about who might have seen your video, it sparked something. And we've been talking about you with various folks for the last couple of days. So go ahead, ma'am.
Hey, John, thanks for coming on, at the last minute. It's nice that this is something we can talk about and bring right to everybody's attention so immediately. So I had talked with a couple folks in the last few weeks, and I was just confirming, first of all, that it was the Bob Kiviat, special edition video that was back in 1997. And I've heard that your project is the same video. Is that correct? I just wanted to verify that first.
That's correct. It's the 1997 Area 51 alien interview. There's music in the background. Can I turn that up?
I can. Yes,
it's normal.
It's really hard to hear.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, so this was a documentary that came out in 1997 called Area 51 Alien Interview. It was done by, hosted by the guy from the X-Files. It took me a hold in 97, and it's 33 years later, and I finally have solved 1,000,000% who Victor is, and people are saying he's proved the video. No, I haven't. I mean, we think we can show the provenance of it, that we draw some very logical conclusions that would hold up in court, but proving the video, I've never said that. I've simply said I cannot, with 1,000% surety, tell you that it's completely accurate. What I can tell you is it was definitely filmed by the government, and it was definitely filmed by the government. And until I have the alien in formaldehyde or the alien in somebody's uncle's garage, who was a puppeteer or an animatronic expert, no, I will never be able to 1,000% prove the video is real. But there are so many inconsistencies. There are so many facts to the video, people's responses that were allegedly in the video, that yes, in my opinion, and if I had to go take this to a court of law, we would get a conviction that this video is real, is showing an actual being. And if you don't believe it's an actual extraterrestrial, it's 1,000,000% filmed by the United States government.
Okay, well, I have a follow-up question. Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were talking about the same video. So my follow-up question was, I remember it was last year, there was some scuttlebutt that came out through the community, and some reporters had asked, I think it was Luna, if she had seen an alien video. And so I wanted to ask you, was this the same video that supposedly or allegedly went to Luna and another congressman, and they saw it? I think it was last year, maybe around December. I'm still trying to track that down, the sources, but I just wanted to ask you that.
Well, I can tell you what I was told privately, but what does that mean? There's no credibility in that, right? I mean, you people are going to say bullshit. So no, I can't tell you for a fact where I can show you a smoking gun proof that my alien interview film was the one shown to Congress, especially the three Congress people, who the one person could not take a drink of water. His hand was shaking so much. I've been told privately what the answer is, but I'm trying to be, as I've been for 5 years, an upright, honest, forthright UFO researcher who doesn't bullshit, who doesn't white lie, who doesn't stretch the truth. I cannot tell you 100% that it is my film that they saw. However, privately, I have been told differently. That's meaningless. So, no, I cannot confirm it.
We got to watch the 4-letter words, John. Here, this is a family
Sorry.
show after all.
Did I say F?
It's our first day with super chats, and they're gonna take away our monetization. This is the first day we've ever had
Clean it up.
monetized YouTube. So
Okay.
it's all good. We love you, John. Courtney, do you have a follow, or do you want me to send it on to Nathan and company?
No, John answered it, so
Okay.
that was perfect. Thanks, John.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for
Sir.
asking your questions. Appreciate it.
Well, Nathan, please take it away, sir.
Yeah, John, it's great to have you back with
Thank
us
you.
on the show.
Glad to be
great
back.
to hear about the updates. Want to hear a lot more about the updates.
Yeah.
You alluded to something that was going to be part of my question, and you said that it's pretty much a fact that the government shot the video, and
Yes.
I am convinced of that as well. But I wanted to ask you, in your opinion, do you think that this video is part of a controlled kind of drip disclosure process, or do you think that Victor and it just sort of got out on its own? Do you think that he did it without someone's blessing? Put it that way.
That's a really good question. And of course, I'd like to be, the buddy of the UFO world and say, we're being played. But the back story, which I've shared with the public, the backstory, which is a retranscribed, alleged internal investigative memo from the Defense Intelligence Agency, who runs all alien programs since the early 60s. That investigation memo clearly states that somebody, a cabal of people, smuggled this out. As much, I'm sure, to the United States government's dismay. Do I 1,000% believe and know that the government does do disinformation and everything from stage events to videos and to get into chat rooms at 100%, 100%. And the problem is the UFO world does more harm to itself that the most of the time the government doesn't really need to do anything. We are our own worst enemies, and maybe we can get into that at a later point. But I believe because of the backstory and the man who the DIA said orchestrated this cabal to steal, smuggle material, especially this video, 3-minute video, and especially a packet of documents, dossiers, and photos that was entitled "The United States Government's Research into the Extraterrestrial Phenomena." This was what was smuggled out of S4, which lies beneath the S2 Alpha building out at Papoose Lake. So says your government, ladies and gentlemen. The problem, and I'm not getting off on a tangent, the problem I have in the vitriol that I have towards Congress is that I am a former candidate for Illinois governor. I flew to Washington, handed a very professional report of my investigation. None of them called me, none of them wrote me, none of them asked a question. And the report was from a government agency that they fund, the DIA. Congress distributes the money. So when anybody thinks that this is my dark laboratory belief system and this is what I was found, this is what I was told and what I saw in a defense intelligence report, that a man named Joseph Yeager, and I went through 5 wrong Joseph Yeagers. This is very important. Please listen. Embarrassingly, I've embarrassed myself with many Yeager families around the country. And that's a side note. But the Joseph Yeager, who was a former State Department official in the 50s, he then worked for the DIA, very disgruntled, as was the Century Connor O'Ryan, who went by the name Derek Hennessy or vice versa, as was Victor, okay, as was the Project Aquarius project leader, Major Thomas Mack. We have a picture from his son at Area 51. He died in 1999, 6 months after writing an email to Bible Apocalypse website. I was the project leader. Dan Burris was down there. Go find Rick Doty. He was our counterintelligence agent. He died 6 months after that email. There was a cabal of 4 to 5 people who Joseph Yeager organized again, a DIA employee organized and conspired with to remove information from S4. Period. Put it in the books.
Wow.
And the report says it. The report says we believe Joseph Yeager, a DIA employee, conspired to remove this film.
If you're having issues, John, with the members of the Yeager family, could you be referred to as the Jägermeister?
Oh, that's funny.
Sorry.
I'll tell you what.
Go ahead.
I'm doing a
Nathan, I'm
doing
sorry.
a cheap documentary about
No
the
Jaeger
backstory
shots.
of the backstory of this investigation, specifically talking about Hollywood, the media, and when you hear the 5 Yeager families that I have utterly embarrassed myself with, you're going to be like, this. I feel bad for this guy. This is a good guy. Jon Stewart's a good guy.
You are a good
he kept
guy.
going on. Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, you're going to feel bad for me. There's a Yeager family in Philadelphia that I was sure was the Joseph Yeager. If they're listening, they were so kind to me. They're like, dude, don't worry. We get it. Our brother wasn't Joseph Yeager. He was in the Marines for only 3 months. He had some, mental health issues, and he died early, and so on and so forth. But some of the other families are like, if you ever contact us again, we will never, we will call the police. It's tough being an investigator, trust me. So, but anyways.
Yeah, you
No
take it
doubt.
from Hard Knocks.
So that's why I believe the film was filmed by the government, because your government said so. And maybe I've never really clearly stated that to people, but the DIA says that the film was filmed by them for and on behalf of the Department of Naval Intelligence. Period.
And John, where
Period.
can we get a copy of that document? Is that available somewhere on your website or?
No, it's not. I mean,
Okay.
I send it to people. It's been on Reddit and stuff like that because I've redacted the emails and changed the font and stuff. Yeah, I could send it to you.
Cool.
Okay.
Pretty
Yeah, that would
amazing.
be cool to see that.
Pretty amazing.
And
it was can I just say one last thing?
Sure,
The
please.
email that I was sent, somebody, I believe, who was currently back then in DIA, sent this to his colleague who came forward to leak and help me, or as he called it, nudge my investigation, both very old men. And I saw the email back to each other. This was not sent to me by a guy from the DIA. It was sent to my leaker, who then forwarded it to me, if I can be clear. And I want to be clear because the UFO community deserves that. So this wasn't sent to me, other than it was like forwarded to me by my leaker, but it was sent to my leaker originally. And on the bottom of it is like 2 friend colleagues talking to each other. He says, please do not use my name in any association with this material or information. And then he signed his name. Bizarre.
Wow.
And it's your government, folks. Sorry. It wasn't Dr. Greer hoaxing me. It came from the DIA.
I had a thought experiment with someone who's very, very well known in our community. Everybody that's on this panel right now, including John, knows this person. But for the purposes of non-attribution, I won't name him. But we had a thought experiment about, would the government have filmed something like this and faked it? And so I said, okay, it's kind of like I've said to the cabbies, you have to think like the government. And when you want to analyze what the government's doing, you can't think like you. You have to think like them and say, okay, what do I have to gain by making a fake video with an ET? What benefit can I extract from a public affairs or public relations perspective, or any, I guess from an intelligence perspective, if you wanted them. But well, no, I mean, I can answer it too.
Oh, okay.
We couldn't find a reason that they would want to fake something like that, and then shoot it. Can you? Maybe you can. Maybe you can.
Yeah, of course.
Why would they want to fake?
Got to remember, this is 1996.
Yep.
The alien autopsy has come out. It's kind of getting discredited. And the purpose of the government leaking or creating fake photos, fake videos, whatnot is multifaceted. And this is for 5 years of talking to intelligence people. Number one, it helps quell, QUELL. It helps
Mm-hmm.
quell any segments of the military intelligence community who want disclosure. So it's almost like you give them the hors d'oeuvre. You don't hope they come back for the main course. Okay, we'll put some disinformation out. We know these aliens landed at Holloman. Let's
Mm-hmm.
create a video of it. We leak it out. It looks the same. It's not really the aliens, so we're not violating national security laws. Very important. But if we all get caught and they send us to the gallows, I'm being metaphoric, of course, we can say, we did try. We did try to tell you in Close Encounters, in this movie, in that movie, in the alien autopsy, and, we never arrested Santilli and the cameraman, and the alien interview. We never really looked for Victor. We let it all die. And, they can say, we tried to do something for you, to the public, to desensitize you and kind of slow drip information to you. That is my belief why the government, and I've talked to, not only is Stephen Greer one of the biggest proponents of the government's magic department, but many other intel agents will tell you, oh, no, 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 no. They create things, they put things out, they leak stuff themselves, all in a hodgepodge of quelling dissent, getting the information out, not breaking security laws, so on and so forth. So I do believe that the government has put stuff out that that is fake, but
So
is based on a real event. I'm glad I remembered.
I would agree with you with what you just said. But before we get to that discussion, Nathan, so Julie's asking, and I asked in the private. I don't know if you can play the video or not, or how much effort would be involved. I put
I'm
the
hunting
link
it
in
down right now, so we'll get it when I have it.
Okay. All right. So Julie, the answer is yes. And so somebody had something for John here. Somebody was saying that one of your links is not working. Who was that said that? Is it George? Oh, George. Hi, George. Thank you very much for coming. And George is saying that, where is it? The links to John's video and his YouTube on your description aren't working. Okay, so check. I'm sure Nathan got those from you, but check them, John, just to make sure those links are
If
still
you
good.
want to see
when
both
we're done.
documentaries, the 1997 one and When Victor Returns 10 years later, just go to Special Edition 1997, Special Edition Area 51 Alien Interview, Victor, something, and you'll see a yellow-black graphic. It's a great, two documentaries in one. It's been up for a million years. It's really
I
interesting to
love
hear
it.
what Victor says in 2008 when he claims he is dying, which I have proven and found out that he did not die. That was a little bit of a ruse.
Yep, Victor. We got to make sure you go to the gym, Victor, and stay healthy. We need we need your testimony. No. So what I'll say though about the hey, and welcome Mick. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody in the chat. We appreciate you guys. What I'll say is personally from my vantage point, and the amount of years that I've been in government, I can't see a reason that they would want to make a video what Victor released. I can't see a value in them making a fake video like that. So reasonable people can disagree. That's you, meaning you and myself, and I will ask some of my sources in the intel community who know, kind of understand that world, the world of intel and counter intel, a lot better than I, and see if they can see a reason. Through just with a thought experiment, I couldn't see a reason they would want to fake that.
I agree.
Did you want to play it now, Nathan? This video, and just to let you guys. Yes. Oh, okay. I don't mean to rush you. I don't know when you want to do it. So I'm trying to just open that space. Yes, ma'am. Please.
I
Yes, ma'am.
feel like it wouldn't exactly represent the government in a good light. So I can't see like a motivation for them to want to show that they could not take care of that entity.
Correct.
So
And Victor speaks horribly of the government and the people in this project. So yeah, why would you
Yeah,
do that?
it's for me for many reasons. And I showed this to I did a little, pre-show work, and showed this video to my wife, who's from Brazil. She's not from our culture. She's not spun up on UFOs. So without, setting the table for her, I showed her this video without listening to Victor and all that stuff. And her visceral response was, "This looks," in her broken English, said, "This look like a real." And I'm like, "Why do you think that?" And she's like, "The way is moved the head and the way it moved and something like that." She just sensed like, "Yeah, this is an actual creature," which was the response I had. But anyway, this is so amazing. Go ahead, Nathan. We'll play it.
Yeah, it's playing right now. I don't know if you can see it on the screen or not. But
Yeah, let me go big screen on this. I think what you would have to do is take us off and put it up by itself, right? Is that it? Yeah, and then
hold on.
okay.
How's that?
There we
There
go.
you go.
Oh my
Looks
goodness,
good.
that's good. Jesus.
You go back a little bit.
I'm basically having, to me, what I felt is kind of what I associate what Robert Dean said, and the same response that Victor has to watching it.
It was funny. I watched this back like about 3 days ago, and one of the special effects person, I think it was Rick Baker, said it's done excellent. This person could get a job in Hollywood in a minute. He said, but I think it's fake. Then he goes, but there's a couple of movements. I don't know how they did it. Oh, well, then that's it. I mean, it's like me saying, well, that looks like an Indy car, but I know it's an Indy car, but you know, there's a Chevy big block in it, and well, it's not an Indy car then.
Right.
You can't have a FX expert in Hollywood tell you, and we have heard this a million times with experts in this video. It's blah 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 blah, but well, you can't skip diddaloo around but. What do you mean? You've never seen an animatronic doll with those movements? Okay, so a crappy video production company hired an animatronic expert better than you. You've never heard of him, and you've never heard this doll being created animatronically, and now you're confirming he's making movements you've never seen before, or believe that can be done by an animatronic puppet. Okay, well, to me that means I guess it's real. I guess it's not animatronic.
Let,
You know,
let,
it's just crazy. If people just slow down, listen to what people are saying about this, it's, the animatronic expert that did the Patterson Gimlin Bigfoot film. If it's John, I think it's fake. After $2,700 that you gave me, cough. There's one head scratcher. Oh, here we go. What's the head scratcher? It doesn't have crease when they show the light on the thorax. It does not have creases under the armpits. Yeah? Well, in 50 years, I've never seen a foam latex animatronic puppet not have creases under the armpits. It happens during the drying process. You can't get around it. Well, what does that mean then? That means that, so again, like Rick Baker with the movements, we now have another FX expert telling us, we've never seen this before ever. So we have a guy saying he's never seen certain movements. We have another expert saying he's never seen a foam doll without the creases under the armpits. I mean, shut the lights off, close the garage door. It's over.
What's your response when you watch it alone, John? What's your response?
I tell everybody, I watched it in 1997. I had this baller lifestyle of part-time pro wrestler, running for office. I was an automobile wholesaler, living in downtown Chicago. Just a crazy fun life. This video comes on, and I'm in a stupor for 2 days. And it's been hanging on my head for 30 years, which is why I asked Senator John McCain about it in 1999, the DNI, when he flipped his lid. And which is why in 2019 I started to say, no one's getting off their ass fully to investigate this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to see what I can find. This video has bothered me that much, especially the testimony of Victor. There is no way a 20-something screenwriter in Southern California before Google could talk and use the verbiage that Victor does. I don't believe it. Using archaic 1950s, 60s medical terms, the verbiage that it comes together, talks, how communicating with aliens to us would be like us putting calculus into the greets and scrunches of a chimpanzee. There's just no way. And I'm right because I found Victor. So, but I said back then, there's no way this Victor is an actor. There's just no way.
That's the next place we're going to go. No, I agree with you based on what I heard, but the next place we're going to go. But I just like to go around the room here. I wanted to do it while I was playing, but what was your reaction to that, Nathan, Deb, and Courtney, when watching that?
Yeah, I mean, it's I've watched it a lot now, and it's kind of eerie. Like the more you watch it, the more more profoundly I think it kind of hits you. I come back a lot to what you've said, DJ, and you reiterated, John, about the sort of time stamping and the way that this is shot. The critique of you hear often is it's in a dark room, and that would be the perfect room to sort of get away with a poor kind of puppet or reconstruction. On the other hand, DJ, with your experience, as you pointed out, this is the kind of room you would want for an interrogation of a subject. You want only certain focal points to be seen on the video. You want to obscure other aspects of the room because it could give away whatever facility that might be a part of. So it's very kind of a narrow scope. And then just watching it again now, I mean, I don't know, John, maybe I'm starting to impart things to the video, but I almost feel like I'm seeing even subtle movements in the skin of the creature, like
Right.
around the eyes.
There was a
that I
gentleman
haven't
named
seen
Andrew
before.
Burlington who I, no longer associate with, but that was his first thing that he said, wait a minute, something's not right here. I'm seeing subtle movements in the skin, which is possible animatronically, which he never tells people. But why do that when only 25, 30 years later, a hyper examination could pick that up? Nobody picked that up on the documentary. So why would you spend the money to put remote control cables to move the skin? I mean, it's just ridiculous. And also, I said this on the first time I was on your show. That is not the way Victor's video looked when he handed it to Rocket Pictures. It had a bluish gray hue, and I believe that it's on my YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the production company darkened that film for dramatic effect. That is not the way it came. It was like a black and gray almost looking with a bluish hue, like you'd see something with the government. So it's dark. Yeah, the production company did that. Sorry.
Debs, what was your response to what you just saw?
Okay, well, there's a few things I wanted to say. First of all, I went down the rabbit hole of figuring out what kind of world a creature with large eyes like that and very pale skin would live in, and I kind of came to the conclusion it would be a very dark place. So having too much light, even if that's, portraying it a little dramatically for entertainment purposes, that would be uncomfortable for that entity, I would guess. There's a reason they have those large eyes. They're trying to pick up what light they can in their whatever world they're from, or in the caves of our world or the sea of our world. They could be here. We don't know, right?
Right.
So a dark place would be more suitable, I think. But as far as like emotionally, I have like two strong responses to this. One, even though I am still on the fence, I can't help it. I think that everyone has like that, I don't know, feeling about this and about Skinny Bob, right? Which is a whole nother can of worms that we should figure out someday.
Sure.
But like, I still feel upset. That's the reaction. Like, I still feel upset for that entity. And then I also feel this strong bit of anger towards the people who are surrounding it. Like they're just incompetent. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, that is not how you treat something that is ill or suffering. That is not, what are you doing? You're sticking the light in its eye like that. What are you doing? So those are the
So,
two responses.
so
And to upset you even more, I read that after the bean was stabilized, the interview continued. Like, okay, we've got him
yeah,
stabilized. Should we take him back to his confines? No, 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 no. We have more questions to ask this sickly little fellow from 30 million light years away. Are we rolling the tape? Okay, let's go. Keep going. That's exactly what I was told happened. So makes me even more disgusted at, our government, but it is what it
there's
is.
three there's three things that you want to listen to in this video, Debs, when you watch the one that I sent. One is Victor, and you want to listen to everything that he says, both his questions and his answers. The second thing is Robert Dean's response, the former Army intel officer. And they both, so relative to the light, Victor will say when you listen to his, basically his explanation of the lighting, it does say there's other reasons to make the room dark other than plausible deniability. If you show 10 different things in the room, then I have 10 different things to evaluate. If you show one thing in the room, then I have one thing to evaluate as to its veracity, etc. And to identify and to possibly figure out the identity, etc. But anyway, Victor talks about that it doesn't have the ability to combat germs, that it lives in a microbe and bacteria-free environment. So that's one thing, and that it is very sensitive to light. So which goes with your hypothesis about the big eyes. They both had the exact same response. I think Robert Dean said they're treating this like it's livestock, the way that they're wiping its lips and his mouth. And I say it, I mean, could be a he or a she, we don't know the gender of the creature. But the way they're treating it has the same response from other people that I've talked to in the intel community have seen this video, in addition to the two, Victor himself and Robert Dean. That's all I want to say about that, and then we can go to Courtney.
Wait, can I just add though?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
It's also the feeling that like that incompetence is a nervous incompetence. Like they don't know what to do.
And Victor
interesting,
says
yeah.
the medical staff is chosen more for their ability to keep
Yes.
secrets than their medical knowledge. I mean,
Yes.
it's like, is there anything that can debunk this? Is there anyone going to show up in 30 years and give me concrete, valid proof of finally, it's debunked? Anyone? I've been here for 30 years. I mean, even the researcher that I don't get along with, that I no longer speak to, he's telling everybody it's Colin Powell on the left of the camera, his shoulder patch. Okay, I don't speak to this guy anymore. I get the DIA report. Who's in there? Rear Admiral Ned Schaefer. Who is he? He's dead, but he was Colin Powell's chief of staff of intelligence. So two researchers that don't get along, that don't talk anymore, are both have the same conclusion that people in that room are related to Colin Powell, if not indeed Colin Powell. Can you explain that? Yeah, I mean, it's just, the 27 on the bottom of the screen, not known until about 6 years ago that 27 was Yankee White, any contact with the President of the United States. Ned Schaefer was in the Oval Office. Colin Powell, people claim that he was there, was in the Oval Office too. Who, how, what production company would know to put 27 on the bottom of that film and then put Department of Naval Intelligence abbreviation on an agency that does not exist?
Right, yeah.
Why are you doing such a bad hoax? Because you're not filming a hoax. You're seeing government audio-visual documentation, which is, what is this for? What agency? DNI. What is the security level you need to watch this film? Security level 27. I think there's 36 levels.
Yeah, I heard, yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, stop
No.
it. Stop this. This is a joke.
Stop.
This is a joke that people are whistling past us like this is like a hoax. I mean, sorry. I've been waiting 30 years. It's over. I found Victor. And everyone told me, and I have to get this across. Every one of the UFO skeptics that I'd love to wring their neck told me for 30 years, if you find Victor, you prove the video. If Victor's a Hollywood actor, we know the video's fake. If Victor has any connection to the government or the military, then it's real. Okay, I found Victor. He was a government employee. Should I fold my hands and now, like an asshole, a jerk, and say, now what? No, I found Victor. Come on.
No,
come
we're going to get to it. I just got to talk to everybody in the chat because we have people
I
that
know
have
that.
questions.
I'm just
I want to
going
get
off
to
on a
Victor.
tangent, sorry.
No, I definitely want to get to Victor, and I think you should get Victor a Lou Malnati's, but that is a discussion for later. And I wonder if he's gonna go like the vegetarian route or if he's gonna go with sausage.
According
Anyway,
his body shape, he is not a vegetarian. I can tell you that.
Okay. All right. How many questions we got here, Jules? Let's see. So everyone's saying hello, Jon Stewart from Mick, our friend from the UK. Okay. And we do have super chats enabled. If you want to throw us $1 for your question, we would appreciate that. It'll all add up at the end of the quarter when we got to pay these guys. Okay. Calling all beings, would it be possible to ask Mr. Stewart how he stays focus with all the critique and derision he gets from contrarians in the UFO community about the video's authenticity? Okay, so how do you stay focused, John?
Well, to know that since 2019, I have came to the UFO community with hat in hand and said, I don't know anything. I am just going to try to find the truth. I will bring you updates and information as I can. That's a pretty vanilla starting position where you're not agitating the UFO community, right? And I have said, and I said it 30 minutes ago, I don't know 100% if this video is legit because I don't have the puppet or the alien. But I knew that I was presenting stuff unlike Bernie Madoff or Elizabeth Theranos of the Theranos company with the blood draw, two big scam artists who hid everything, who didn't tell people anything. I was the complete antithesis of that. Honest, open, communicating with other podcasters and other of the wise people in the UFO community like Richard Dolan, Dr. Sala, Linda Howell, Dr. Greer, communicating, sharing my information with the UFO world. And so when you're on this honest, mission, it makes it a little easier. Have I thrown books in glasses and wanted to smash my computer screen at people on the internet?
Never.
I was going to fly to somebody's state and kill somebody. I mean, beat the crap out of them. This is what I wanted. I want to kill people sometimes. Yes.
Y'all don't want to mess with this guy, man.
It's very frustrating when you tell people and you have shown people for 5 years, I don't know, I'm not sure. Here's what I found. What do you think? So it does help you react, to absorb some of the criticisms. Telling me I'm fat, I have crazy eyes, that I couldn't possibly be successful this because I sold cars for my family in college. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Does that hurt my feelings? No. Is that insulting and counterproductive to my mission? Yes. But you just have to move forward. I mean, remember, I was a pro wrestler, I was a used car dealer, and I was a politician. I think I can take the flack. But you
football player.
You see the dysfunction, the narcissism dysfunction of the internet that literally scares the crap out of me for our future, and I mean that sincerely.
Well, you're a better looking bald. You're a better. You're a better looking bald guy than me, John. So I've got to give you. I got to give you a lot of respect for that, and it, but I have goals for next year for 25. All right. So, Courtney, do you have a question before we get back to the
Yeah,
chat and what they got going? Yes, please go ahead, ma'am.
I
Well, you were going to
do.
give your reaction to the video
No,
first and then ask him something. Yeah?
that's okay.
Maybe?
We're running out of time,
Okay.
so I'll just ask my
Okay.
question and pass on
Okay.
the analysis of the
Okay.
video. But John, so you've taken this to a bunch of people. You've mentioned a bunch of leadership in our community. What has been the general consensus in your interactions with them about the video?
Uh-oh. Here we go. Here we're gonna flamethrow people. She led me into it. No. Linda Moulton Howell has been awesome. She's been like a mother figure to me. My mother died in 2012. I'm not being melodramatic. She's been like a mother figure to take the time to teach me how to be a journalist, how to answer questions, how to file away. Leslie Leslie Keene, same way. Here's what you ask people. Here's how you approach people. Those two women have been wonderful to me. Richard Dolan has been great. Richard Dolan upped my game. I don't want to embarrass Richard Dolan for saying, well, Jon Stewart's investigation is pretty interesting. I want to be able to go to Richard Dolan and say, here, 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 here. I don't know. I don't know. Kind of for sure. So I think Richard Dolan appreciates that. We've had great feedback from when I was on his podcast. Dr.
Yes.
Michael Sala of Exopolitics is one of my, he called one of the rear admirals in this list that were allegedly watching this video. Not only did I email that rear admiral, Dr. Michael Sala emailed him, said, boom, boom, boom. Would you like an interview? Dr. Sala proved that he was real, and the admiral said, who was a former director of DIA, I'm respectfully going to refuse to have any interviews on that subject matter. So Dr. Sala's been great. Dr. Greer, what can you say about Dr. Greer? He let my information into the Disclosure Project. We kind of tacitly coordinated when he had the big Disclosure Project last year at the press club. That's when I dropped my packets off in Congress, kind of coordinated that a little bit. Every time you text Dr. Greer, he texts you back right away. He's very intense. He yells at me sometimes on the phone because I don't shut up. So, but that's Dr.
What?
Greer.
Who said that?
And and he's taught me so much. And it's been more than one time he said, "Quiet, wait, I'm trying to teach you." So all of these luminaries, I know it's hysterical. But talk about a guy with a Wikipedia knowledge of the UFO world to help you with requests and stuff like that, or what way to go. Always answering emails. I can't say enough about Dr.
Thank you,
Greer.
Dave.
I mean that sincerely. And well, let me go for a couple of other people. Reverend Michael Carter, you've seen him on Ancient Aliens. He's been like the conciliary of this investigation with my team, walking me off the ledge. I have to give kudos to Richard Doty, who has said publicly, I don't know much about this video, but to talk to somebody that's been at the upper levels of S4 in the S2 Alpha building, Doty taking hours to help me with FOIA requests. What is the language? Rick Doty helped me with a FOIA request, still not given back to me about the police officers and their names of the switch logs, so we can maybe find the police officer that drove the cameraman back to Groom Lake after filming it, stuff like that. Because I'll tell you something, John Greenwald, Mr. FOIA, and I respect his work, hasn't emailed me back in 5 years, and I've emailed him 10 times.
You
MUFON,
haven't.
the
You're not missing
MUFON,
anything.
yeah, well, I'm just saying, MUFON has never emailed me back of the 3 times. So, you know, and it's so you just gotta. Some people are gonna accept you, and some people won't. But the luminaries, the heads of state, as I call them, of the UFO world, have been absolutely wonderful to me because they see a guy who is not pounding his fist. It's for sure. I know. Just here is what I was told. Here is what I was shown. Here is what I found. Here's what I dug up. What say you? And people respect that.
Yeah, if they're looking for someone to throw daggers at that says I know this is for real. Let him throw daggers at me, because that's what I said from the first
Right.
time I saw it. But I don't really care what anybody thinks either. So, all right. So John, we only have about 10 minutes left, and we want to
Okay.
get to Victor,
Yeah.
if you would. And then what we're gonna do, if you can get this in 5 minutes, we're gonna spend the last 5 minutes answering questions in the chat.
Yeah.
And like rapid fire style. So,
Yeah.
if you would, how did you?
I'm not going to tell you that. Come on. I
Okay,
don't need people
maybe not
Googling
have
how
to.
I,
Okay,
it
okay.
happened.
Not how
I
did you
hired
find
an
Victor?
investigator.
What does he have to say? What does he have to say now?
Okay. When I first called him, he said, "Hello, Jon Stewart." And I said, "How did you know it was me?" He's like, "It's called caller ID." Very jovial, not the jerk Victor. And his
Mm-hmm.
wife starts laughing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Not at me, but like, And
Mm-hmm.
I just simply said, "Look, I've been looking for you for 30 years. There is no argument here. Please accept my forthright style of speaking to you is, but I know you are Victor." And he said, "Who?" I said, "I know you're Victor from the Alien interview film." Now I'm trying to not say his name, so please
Don't
bear
say
with
his
me.
name.
So he
Don't
goes,
say his name.
he's not real. He's not. He is not trying very hard to pretend he's not him. He goes,
Right.
"Oh, that little film that leaked out. I
Mm.
thought you didn't know what Victor and the film was." Then he asked me to call him at normal business hours. He was very polite. Boom, hung up. Then I sent him an email. "Can I call you between 11 and 12 on Tuesday?" I'm making Tuesday up. I don't know what day it was.
Yeah.
Writes me back, "Yes." At 11:01. Now remember, on the Art Bell show, he is incensed at Art Bell because somebody got a wrong phone number and he wants
Yeah.
to. So remember that. At 11:01, my phone rings. It's his. I got him on caller ID now, and I'm like, "Hello." He's like, "I thought you were supposed to call me at 11 o'clock." I'm like,
It's
"Oh, hi,
11:01.
Victor, for being a jerk." I'm like, "It's 11:01." I said, and here again, I almost said his name. I said, I thought I said in the email between 11 and 12, and I am so sorry. Are you able to speak? He's like, "Well, I told you I was able to speak at 11." I'm like, "You're being Victor. Are you being Victor on purpose? Are you being this much of a jerk on purpose?" And, he has skipped around things. Um, he
What's your?
has seen himself in Victor. He's like, "That's my doppelganger." He goes, which I think says it all. He said, "Well, what did the director tell you my name was? I thought you're not Victor. What do you care what the director said?" And then he said, "I just can't admit that I'm Victor. I can't admit that I'm this guy."
What's
Which
your level of
freaked
confidence?
me. I've sent this to 3 podcasters, my agent, 2 lawyers. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's laughable. His picture from '97 to Victor's picture from the '97. It's not similar. It's the same guy. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like
But
my picture now, and then a picture of me wearing a blue shirt. I mean, it's people were laughing. Jack Connors of Cosmic Road, sworn to secrecy. He's like, "This is ridiculous. This is." He's like, "This is not even. It's not even close. It's him." I mean, it's. Victor goes, "Oh, even the hairline matches." I said, "You know what? You also cross your wrists the same as Victor." And he's like, "Yes, that is true." And I mean, it was like I was a police officer having a guy, with blood on his hands in interrogation room, and he's doing mental gymnastics to get around this, which scared the crap out of me. Because why are you not admitting forthrightly that you're Victor? Because you're scared of this film and you being associated with this film, that you could
I,
still be in trouble. Why can you
John,
still be in trouble? Because you
John,
stole government top secret information.
I
Scary
think, I
shit
mean,
stuff.
the people that are being threatened currently, and I mean, between Deb and Courtney and Nathan, they could do probably 10 minutes on people who have been threatened that
Right.
they know of in the community that are high profile former government people. So he has a good reason to be scared. And if I were him, I
Yes.
wouldn't reveal my identity. But
Yes, me agreed.
how were you? Is and just give me like a yes or kind of a yes or no on this. Does it seem like he wants to convince you in any way that he's Victor? Because if
No,
so, then you
no,
could ask.
I can
He
stop.
doesn't.
No, no.
So,
But he's not
are
smart
you
enough to be smart enough to not to tell me. Well, what did the director tell you my name was? Well, I just can't tell you. I just can't admit. He said I'm Victor.
right? Well, if you were to, is there a question that you feel like you could ask him that he would answer that only Victor would know? Like, do
Well,
you
I know
have
so much
that?
about him. Again, I wrote, folks, not only is the visual ID not close, it is spot on perfect. I even have him wearing a three-piece brown suit like he wore in the video. And
Okay.
my investigators and I wrote down 23 questions or 23, like a line item to prove also, besides visual documentation, he is Victor. We have
Okay.
found out, in my opinion, or I have found out, how he got a pitch meeting with Fox before he got one with Rocket Video. How was a government employee getting a pitch meeting with unscripted television and Fox? You can't do that now, let alone in '96. Let
Right.
alone being. We know why now. We everything he talked about, I can trace back to him in his bio. We had 23. We added two more, like, um, lines that directly check to him and his bio. This, folks, this is game, set, and match. People have seen this, have seen the face, the two pictures against each other. It's over. It's over.
Yeah.
I found him. You know, will we
I
ever
bel I
prove the
bel
video? Probably not.
Well, yeah, I believe you, and I told you I was speaking with a thought leader the other night, and he said I hope he comes out, and I said I hope he doesn't, and he said why do you hope he doesn't? I said because if he came out tomorrow and went before news cameras from 5 different networks, nobody would believe him anyway.
Nope.
They'd still think he's lying. So why
Nope.
why put yourself in danger for people to say you're a liar anyway, and how can you
Right.
prove it? And
Right.
first of all, his voice is disguised, so there's all that. So there's no reason for him to come out because it's not going to further the topic, and all it will do is put him in the same kind of danger that others are in without going into their names.
Remember,
So let me
25 lines that if he's Victor, he would bloom. 25 points of interest connect Victor to this person. It's over. I did it. 30 years.
I believe
I did it. I know that. I'm just talking to
I
your
believe you,
audience.
Paisan.
I'm saying
As much
it's
as I
over.
believe
We
in
did it.
Lou Malnati's.
We did it.
All right, let me get to some of these questions here.
Go
Let's
ahead.
do these in a rapid fire fashion so we could get out of here in the next
I'll
5
be
minutes.
pithy in my answers. Yeah.
Does John let me put this let me let the cabbies read. Nathan, you got a wonderful reading voice. God bless you. Where is it? There you go. Is it there? It's not showing up. There it goes. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think I was clicking when you were clicking. Does
Okay.
John believe that in the near future, AI and general AI will be able to analyze such material and videos and say definitively it's real or not?
I do.
Okay. That's a fair answer, Mick. If those are a perfect scenario to put AI on, and it can sort of evaluate if there's other creatures that
Well, we
that
proved it's
move like
16
that.
millimeter film stock, then transferred to VHS. We have proven that. So who's using 16 millimeter film stock in 1996? No
Okay,
one.
Debs, go ahead and I'm with you. Go ahead, Debs. Would you?
Okay, well, you see, I'm sorry. If this Victor is true, there won't be 2025 Capito. Main message of the alien was end of the world, period. Not that you're not alone. They don't come from other planets light years away.
And
Oh,
Victor
well.
said that they believe they come from other dimensions. And the alien did not say the end of the world. Victor said the end of the world would happen before the 20th anniversary. And we had a solar class X flare miss the world, the planet Earth, by about 3 days in 2012. That would have wiped us out. So don't say that Victor didn't know his crap back in 2008. So.
I want a T-shirt. Victor's my homie. Courtney.
Oh, I think she wanted to be skipped on that.
Oh.
I got it. Okay. Did Victor admit to knowing about your investigation?
Great question. He knows nothing about me. He knows nothing about the investigation, whatnot. I don't believe that, but I am being honest, and I am telling you what he told me. He was dumbfounded who I am, so on and so forth, which I believe is a lie, but I'm telling you what he told me.
Okay. This one right here is from Ben, and I'm going to prove to Nathan that I can read because he's questioned that. DJ is the man. I was like thinking he's writing in Latin. And okay, this data, my friends, who in the community has peer reviewed any of this data?
Richard
Who
Dolan.
else
I'm sorry.
support and these who else support these conclusions? Who else has been allowed to verify Victor? So you've got 3 questions from
Okay.
Ben. Thank you, sir.
Richard Dolan. Now, not everyone has seen the full complexity of the information. Richard Dolan, Dr. Greer, Linda Moldenhau, Dr. Sala, Sean West, who is the agent to all of the UFO celebrities and stars, Jack Connors, Vinnie Adams, the UK podcaster, has seen some of this. Jack Connors has seen most of this from Cosmic Road. He has become a trusted friend of mine. So, again, thank you for that question. Hoaxers, scam artists, and grifters don't share their info. That's how you keep the con going. I shared every bit of this info. Yes, it has been peer reviewed. And investigator Chris Todd, you can see him on Cinemills TV, has gone over everything. Game, set, and match. He did OJ. He did John Bonet. I've sent this to everybody that I trust. So yes, it has been peer reviewed. That is a great question. And it's what everyone says is we don't know what to say. I mean, nobody can say anything to debunk it.
No, we got to go on to the next question. Ben
Okay.
probably wants an analyst at my level to analyze this material, and I'm sure you can appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That's where you laugh, Nathan. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nathan.
So I guess, John, does your former investigative partner agree with your conclusions and data?
Well, I have 5. Oh, the former investigator, no, because he thinks he found Victor. He thinks Professor Jerry Schwartz from the University of Arizona is Victor. Let him think that. I'm glad that he actually came out again with a possible Victor, time stamping that he does not know who my Victor is. Yes, we both agree that this is an authentic video of an extraterrestrial. He believes it's Colin Powell to the left, the foreground. I've had it hyper-examined at about $700. It does not look different lips than Colin Powell. We disagree on that. We both agree that it's weird as oddly enough that yes, it's without a doubt an authentic depiction of an extraterrestrial interview. He's just mad that people have come out to help me and not him. He doesn't have a phone. He doesn't call people. He doesn't email a lot of people. You can't be an investigator and sit in front of your computer. You got to get out there. So that's why I've been this successful at this.
As a Jew myself, an Italian Jew, I could tell you that Victor is no Jerry Schwartz. All right?
No.
I mean, I can say that unequivocally. Victor is not someone who's ever been to a Seder dinner in his life.
Right.
All right. I haven't had matzo ball soup even. I would submit Victor has not had matzo ball soup. Anyway, all right. Thank you for getting.
In '97, we have is thin like Victor in the documentary. In 2008, he's in the car with a follow-up documentary. He's portly. My guy is portly too. Body. I'm not going to say anymore. Yeah. But even body, the bodies are the same in different eras. It's amazing.
I think you should, but John, I think you should speak to Victor about fitness and maybe going to the gym and things like that. So just consider having a talk with him.
He is in his. Okay, I'm not going to say that. But yeah,
he's old. Oh yeah, he's older than us. We'll put it that way.
Way older. Yeah.
Yeah, because he would have been. Yeah. I mean,
and he's
I
not
would
that
have
much
been
of a
maybe.
Jerk. He's not that much of a jerk. He's not that much of a jerk.
That's awesome.
As they came out to be, it was very nice that he wasn't.
A great whiskey mellows with age. All right.
I
I'll tell
love
you
that.
what. Thank you. I'll tell you what, that was really fun, and thank you for getting to all those questions in the chat, and thank you everybody for stopping in. New folks, we would really appreciate it if it looks like you're all watching on YouTube. If you would subscribe to our channel, we would greatly appreciate that. And if you would just hit the like button on this video, we would also appreciate that. And red finger, number one finger. I don't know what that means. But anyway, thank you. Keep pushing, John. Absolutely, John.
I will, pal.
Anybody who's going and doing that work like you're doing, we have great
Thank you.
appreciation. So
Thank you so much.
let's go with Cabby Goodbye, starting with our homie, a study of UAP. Debs!
I wish I'd had time to ask a question, but instead,
Go ahead, ma'am.
no, I want to
Okay.
instead just encourage you. Maybe I know this isn't your path per se, but to do some comparison on this investigation with some of the other military folks who are talking about very similar encounters, which I'm sure you've caught wind of before, and of course the Skinny Bob, because I find that also a big mystery.
Which is a real video put through Shutterstock. Real video. Look at the timestamp on the bottom. That's all I'm
Right.
gonna say.
So maybe when you come back, I can ask you some questions about your
Love
thoughts
to
on
talk about it.
how both those things tie into this
Yeah.
investigation. That's what I'm
That'd be great.
curious about, because it seems like there's a lot connected to this, and this is not the only example of what's going on with this
Right.
information. So, and
Yep.
thank you so much for updating us.
Thank you.
I'm thinking
Thanks,
we're
Deb.
going to need more updates in the future, and hopefully Victor will tell you how he even knew about the alien interview, because that's not exactly
see.
something everybody knows about. So that's sort of
I'm
like
gonna
a
take him
red,
out and get him drunk. That's my goal.
yeah, yeah, that's sort of like a red herring that,
And
yeah,
I'm not
he,
joking. I'm gonna try and get him drunk.
okay. Well, thank you.
I totally support that.
Because he did not say
Um,
don't visit me. He's like, hey, if you want to come, okay.
That's awesome.
I'm
That
coming.
is really awesome. Well, you're a great personality, Nathan.
Yeah, John, I don't doubt that you are going to continue on to this quest, and I wish you all the best of luck. Love the energy and tenacity that you have for this, the passion that you have for this. You are the person who was destined, in my opinion, to chase this down. So really appreciate you sharing your results and continuing to keep us updated. I do think you're working really hard to be as transparent as you possibly can while protecting those sources, which I think is very, very important to do. I hope we're getting closer to that day where we're going to get some really hard verification. I feel like we are. Every day that goes by, I feel like we're a little bit closer, and you're a part of that story. So thank you for that effort, and looking forward to having you back.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
And before I thank John, I just want to throw out another nugget about potentially what video, if any, like this that congressmen or women have seen. I was speaking with James about this, and when you look at his interview that he did with Jim Semivan, and understand the clearance level that you have to look, you would have to get a video like this. I don't believe any one of those folks in Congress outside of a Gang of Eight member, so definitely not Luna or any of those folks that were referenced, would have a clearance that they would show another interview like this. So I believe if they saw a video, they probably saw the video that John is referencing here. I don't think they would have the clearance level to see anything that was still in the vault, so to speak, that hadn't escaped. That's my opinion. I can't back that up, but I don't think they would have that clearance level. And one of the things that Jim pointed out
Which is above cosmic, by the way. But right.
I mean, and one of the things that Jim Semivan pointed out is, even if someone like Marco Rubio said, I really want this information, I said, okay, Senator, you really want this? We'll bring in a skiff. Okay, I want you to sign this piece of paper. And after you sign that piece of paper and you read what you're legally liable for and the criminality of releasing that, well, now he's held with that information and he can't do anything with it anyway. So that's why, and check out James Indoli's interview with Jim Semivan. It's going to tell you everybody a lot about that. A lot of us didn't know, that I didn't know, about how much of this goes from these saps up to the executive branch and bypasses Congress and et cetera, et cetera. It's 3 hours worth of goodness. Jon, thank you for joining us again, my friend, and just on short notice, giving you your time, giving us your time. We really appreciate it, and I can't wait. I'm always interested to see anything that you put out. Please send it to us so we can put it out on all our cab channels. And I just wish you great luck and success, and thank you for doing what you're doing. Okay.
Thank you, all of you, and to your viewers and listeners. Thank you for supporting me, and I say from the bottom of my heart, God bless all of us.
Yep.
We're gonna
Bless
need
you.
it. We're gonna need it.
We're definitely going to need it. And that's why people
Yeah.
in the chat are saying Jon for president. So on behalf of Jon Stewart and Debs and Money Nathan and Julie in the chat, thank you so much, Julie. This is DJ saying peace out. One love. We'll see you down the road. And we're always wondering what's up around the bend. Peace. See you guys later.